Listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the South Burbs Hitmen podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, Steven Zimmerman, and Vinnie Parisi. We're bringing you the White Sox coverage you need from the perspective of true Southsiders. Grab your Comiskey dog with an ice-cold beer and meet us in section 155. Everyone get on your feet for your South Burbs Hitmen.
That ball hit deep. Way back. You can put it on the board. Yes. Jimenez in the air. Left field. He's your hero tonight. Thanks, Cubs.
Over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
Alexei! Yes! 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 History! A perfect game by Mark Burley, and what an unbelievable play by Dwayne White.
First pitch starts now.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another craptastic edition of South Burbs Hitmen. And by craptastic, we mean fantastic. As always, I'm Joe Mandel, one of your hosts. I'm joined, as always, by my White Sox brother-in-arms, Vinnie Parisi. And Steven Zimmerman could not be with us tonight. He's got some other stuff going on with family. He would have been here if, by the grace of God, Pedro Grifol was fired. But he has yet to be given the axe, Vincenzo. So let's lead with that. How is this man still employed?
We learned over the weekend, the public learned over the weekend. A little birdie told me this a long time ago. I didn't trust it. I didn't know whether or not I was supposed to believe it. But he makes $1 million a year. You know, that's a lot for a manager in MLB. And it's a 3-year deal. We learned that over the weekend, too. We confirmed it. I heard it a long time ago. Again, I didn't know if I was supposed to believe it or not. I never said anything. I didn't care enough to say anything because I do feel like that puts an unnecessary level of angst against him because by all accounts, Pedro Grifol is like a good person. He takes it enough as it is. So if his contract got out, that would just make it even harder on him. But now it's out there, 3-year deal. This is year 2, $1 million. And to me, it makes Jerry look worse because now we know why he hasn't been fired, right? Like the Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't want to pay him 18, doesn't want to make Pedro Grifol make $1 million next year to not manage the team and then pay somebody else, right? So it's a joke. You know, we see teams in the NBA buy guys out for like $60 million. And, you know, baseball's just as lucrative, especially an owner like Jerry Reinsdorf, who owns an NBA team as well.
Who also stink.
Yeah, they also stink. TV agreements will ever keep any NBA team from being this bad. But, I mean, I don't know. I just – it's crazy that they won't fire him. It's not going to happen. Right? Like if he makes it to the Cubs game on Friday, then I believe he's going to coach the rest of the season. If they're going to fire him, it's going to be this week. I'm sure we'll talk about the losing streak, but I never once thought that they were going to can him this week because I just don't see the White Sox paying him to go away. I just don't see it.
Go ahead.
No, it's that's it, basically.
I put the clip up when you were talking, but I'll put it back up again. This is why I think he's getting fired. I mean, have you ever seen someone disrespect a manager like this?
Yeah, I mean, no, of course not. At least not in. I don't even know, like, not on a team like the White Sox, right? Like, when you're this bad, when you're a bad team, everybody kind of gets it, right? Like, we're got a 280 winning percentage, and it's only going down by the minute. But it's just normally you see that like competitive team first place is on the line. Like, we're gonna act like idiots and apologize for it later. I think of the way Travis Kelce acted in the Super Bowl a little bit.
Right.
That's a competitor. That's a guy who I want to win.
Steven Wilson, as far as I know, has not issued an apology for this, has he?
No, and he's not going to. It's Pedro Grifol. It's not, anyone worth going crazy over. But yeah, he's lost this place. I don't know if they do it during the offseason, and that just makes it a little bit cheaper than firing him right now when the team's already in the toilet bowl. That's just how I see it going down. It's crazy that they even paid him as much as they did and gave him a 3-year deal. But when they signed Pedro Grifol or hired him to be their manager, it was coming off the 81-81 2022 season. That team wasn't bad. It wasn't fun to go through the ups and downs of that season as much, especially since we were expecting a World Series caliber team following 2021. But that team, by all means, was not bad. The White Sox aren't going to win 81 games this year and next year, or this year, next year, and last year combined. And they won 81 that year. So, it was a fun year from sense in hindsight, but it's bad right now. Just bad.
I mean, he lost the locker room clearly. I'm sorry, clubhouse. I don't know why I said locker room. I'm thinking other sports. Lost the clubhouse. This guy, they're losing fans. They're dropping like flies. So Jerry's going to prioritize, saving a little bit of money with Grifol. Because if you cut him loose, I mean, we're already over halfway through the season, right? You put the interim manager on the bench, the players maybe get a little bit happier, maybe find a way to win a few games and not be the worst team of all time. There's the victory right there, Jerry or Chris. Apparently the rumor was that Jerry had a meeting this week with Chris and Pedro, a serious sit down. The only thing I could think of, and I think you're right, if he didn't get fired after a serious sit down, when is it going to happen? Or is the ultimatum, you have to win however many games this week or you're done? I don't know.
Well, they play. Everybody keeps saying, and Steve Stone talked about it on the broadcast, and people on Twitter have seen say, "Oh, well, they play the A's this week, right?
They're better than us.
The A's are no good, right? They've been a bad team for a couple years. They're reluctant to spend any money. They're probably going to get booted out of Oakland. It's probably the biggest disaster franchise in all of baseball. I still actually feel that way. I know the White Sox are right there, but the A's they're a dumpster fire too, make no mistake about it. But they are 19 and a half games ahead of the White Sox coming into this game. They are closer to a wild card spot than the White Sox are the A's. So, and the A's are the second worst team in the American League. Nobody else is directly above them besides the A's. And they're closer to a wild card spot than the White Sox are to them. So,
my God,
it's pathetic to even go into this series. We got one of these three. Do I think they could win one of these three? Of course. You could beat anybody on one random given night. Someone's back gets hot. Someone pitches a gem. Kai Bush makes his MLB debut tonight and shoves. Like, all sorts of things can happen where you get a win. Who knows? You could even get lucky and win a series. That happens all the time. No team in baseball is supposed to be that bad where you can't do it for a 3-week stretch.
You would think.
The American League All-Stars have won a baseball game more recently than the Chicago White Sox, but that's not here nor there. They have 27 wins I believe they got their 23rd win on like June 23rd, I think I read, or something like that. It's August 5th.
The Chicago
Right.
Bears have more wins than the Sox over the last 3 weeks.
Exactly.
And they didn't even play a second half.
Yeah, they didn't even play. Yeah, they played two and 2/3 quarters. Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad what has become of this. I don't foresee it getting better any time soon.
Me either.
But not firing Pedro Gaffal, it shows how much of a joke Jerry Reinsdorf is. It shows how uncommitted to turning this around as quick as possible they are. And quite frankly, I'm disgusted by it. But I'm also like, I'm so over it. But also I still watch. I was watching baseball all night. I was watching the Guardians and Arizona Diamondbacks go back and forth earlier today. I'm like, that's baseball, man.
Yeah, that was the Kettle
Marte. Were you watching that?
I own him in fantasy, so I had to turn it back on. That guy's been on a tear, man.
Yeah. And he got in a little argument with the umpire. I don't think he got ejected.
I hope not.
But I mean, this baseball is so cool, and White Sox fans are feeling drained of this great sport because of the fact that this team is just such crap. I mean, it is just such
everything
crap.
that you just said, Vin, about how baseball is great and whatever. I can't get on board. I love baseball, but when my team is so bad, it makes it so hard for me to like get any enjoyment from the sport. Like I bought, like I do every year, MLB ticket because I'm in Michigan, so I can watch all my Sox games. You know how many Sox games I've sat and watched from start to end this year, Vin?
5?
0 from beginning to end.
Oh, wow.
0.
That's impressive.
I've caught a couple, innings here and there, but they've been so bad, it's like unwatchable. I've probably watched more Yankees games from start to finish this year than I have White Sox. And I'm not a Yankees fan. They're my World Series pick from Crosstown earlier in the year. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe playoff baseball will eject some life into my baseball soul, but it's gone right now.
And football coming back might make you watch more baseball reluctantly too. I get into like when a sport mode, like just being involved in sports. I don't know. They bring them out of each other for me. Like October is my favorite month of the year, but I don't know. It's pretty sorry what has become of them. I will say. I mean, what they've put this fan base through, and a fan base that's by all accounts a sleeping giant. We remember the playoff games, how crazy it was. And they just don't seem to care at all. So why would I?
Vin, that's the funny you brought that up because when we were running the open for the show, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, when I made this open originally, I'm like, this team was good. Like, it's really sad to think that I sit through that open now. I'm like, man, now they really stink. And I have to redo the opening countdown because almost Eloy's gone, Kopech's gone. I don't even remember who else on that thing is gone, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't have the motivation to do it right now. This team is so bad.
And when you think of what their starting lineup was like 2 years ago, it'll make you sick. Like you think about Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, Abreu, remember Yasmani Grandal when he was good.
Yeah. When he could hit.
Luis Robert Jr. It was such a fun young team, and they just pissed it all away. They said, we don't care.
Speaking of things that'll make you sick, Vin, isn't it impressive how good Eloy has been on Baltimore since he got traded?
Eloy Jimenez has had the tools of an all-star level hitter since he's 12 years old. So to see him go to a new team that might have a different protocol on approach to hitting or a different way of keeping your body fresh, maybe they know what to do to help keep you, let's say, feeling good with your massage therapy and mental health and all sorts of philosophy There's
Yeah.
all sorts of ways teams can go about things that are different, and the Orioles seem to kind of have that going good right now. And to see a guy with the tools that Eloy Jimenez has in his pocket go there and start hitting right away, yeah, I honestly can't say I'm just surprised, Joe. I mean, this is a guy who, when the team was good and things were chugging along, he hit 30 home runs kind of by accident in his rookie year.
Yeah.
And then he was on pace for like 50 in the 2020 season. It was only 16 games.
Remember that home run that he clobbered off of like the ivy in center at Sox game, and that thing could have gone forever.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, you don't just forget how to play baseball. I know you age and you could like age out, but like he's not old by any means. He's supposed to be having his like best years now. But Joe, you see Kopech go to the Dodgers and become Pedro Martinez. So
maybe put the brakes on a little bit, but yes, I understand what you're saying.
Oh, in his short sample size, what could you do better?
Fair enough.
Like, you can't do better than what he's done. His two-seam fastball when he first came to the White Sox, I was like, I've never seen a ball go that fast and move that much at the same time. Normally, when it's going 102, it's going 102. But he had it where it was going 102 and going like this in the zone. And it is just impossible to hit when it's on its game. And it looked like that so far in his Dodgers debut. It's not just one inning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got a couple stacked up now. I can't wait to watch him pitch, hand it over to the closer in a playoff game because it's going to happen.
Oh, well, yeah. And all the guys that they traded have been playing well. Tommy Pham has been crushing the ball.
Yep. The only one who had a tough new team start was Fetty.
Yeah.
And it was one bad inning. It wasn't even a bad start. It was one bad inning.
I mean, I was at a restaurant the other day with my family. We were eating, and I looked up, and it's the Cubs-Cardinals game, and there's Tommy Pham getting interviewed. I was like, oh, he just got traded the other day. And I still don't understand, Vin, and I'm going to pull it back to the trade. What is the player to be named later? Is that going to be cash? Is that going to be actually a player? How does St. Louis get two studs and barely give up anything to the White Sox?
I think it makes the Dodgers and the White Sox look bad, that trade. I know the Dodgers don't give a shit because they have Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Kyler Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow and Michael Kopech and all these people that are awesome.
Studs.
Just studs all over the place. Max Muncy's hardly played this year. The Dodgers become like, who? Like, the White Sox, they lose Max Muncy for 3 months, and it's like the world would be falling. But I'm shocked. The Cardinals gave up nothing. Like we went over last week on last week's show, there are a handful of players to be named later that turned into something, but it's unlikely, and it's even less likely when you put a SOX on the team.
Yeah, just painful, man. Vinny and I talked about this before we went live. I was struggling so hard this week to like talk about this team. But Vinny, you pointed out something interesting to me, and actually we got a comment in the chat from our buddy Travis earlier that goes along with it. But Vinny, what did you say before we went live that was kind of true?
I'm drawing a blank.
I was talking about how I couldn't get any excitement to talk about this team, and you're like, well, they're more exciting to talk about because of the losing streak.
Yeah. I will say, like, okay, you got the Bears are in training camp. The Cubs are on a little bit of a heater. They've won 3 of 4. The Blackhawks have Bedard, and they're probably going to like be a lot more entertaining of a hockey team this year. The Sky have Angel Reese and Camila Cardosa, and they're on the rise, right? Chicago sports are bumping, not in a winning way, but there are some things to talk about. And I honestly think right now the White Sox are the biggest story. They're the leadoff story on the radio shows I've listened to. Everyone's talking about the White Sox. They have been on Sports Center every night this week, for crying out loud. They keep talking about every time the winning streak extends or losing streak extends, excuse me. So they're becoming one of those like historic teams that people will talk about for generations. They crack a joke about the '03 Tigers and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I don't know if you ever caught that or
I
realized
did.
that. The '03 Tigers are widely considered like the worst team of the
ever.
21st century. That Doctor Strange joke is going to kind of be irrelevant by the end of this year because in the next Doctor Strange movie, in Doctor Strange 3, they'll make a joke about the 2024 White Sox. People make those tier makers on Twitter, and it's like, okay, these are the elite teams, and they'll put like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Orioles, teams like that. And, they'll put the good teams, the bad teams. They'll have a section for like the really bad teams, but then they'll have like the lowest tier, and it'll say like holy F word or something like that. And it'll just be the White Sox logo next to it. Like they're not even in the extremely bad tier anymore. They're like in the, dude, what the hell is going on? I haven't seen, when I'm trying to think of like the worst teams ever in any sport I've ever watched, it felt like there was a silver lining at the end of all of it. Like
the draft pick.
Something came to that, like the '03 Tigers. Okay, what were the '03 Tigers? They were one of the worst teams in the league, but that year there was this up-and-coming player for the Miami Marlins named Miguel Cabrera. And Miguel Cabrera eventually found his way to the Detroit Tigers, and they were probably the best team in the American League from 2006 to 2015. They made 2 World Series appearances, didn't win either of them, unfortunately.
Nothing to show for
but
it.
They were damn good. The Tigers were damn good. I saw Prince Fielder and Miggy Cabrera in my sleep when I was in high school. The Lions, okay, they got, Matthew Stafford out of going 0-16 that year. I get it. They didn't win anything with Matthew Stafford, but he ended up going to LA and winning the Super Bowl. They got Goff back. They're one of the best teams in the league now. Even though it's like a decade later, they're still seeing some benefit from that year where they went 0-16. You look at that Colts team that would they go 0-16 or 1-15, whatever they did? It was like one of the worst football teams ever. They got Andrew Luck. And I know Andrew Luck retired early because of injuries and whatnot. He might even be a Hall of Famer. Andrew Luck was unbelievable, and the Colts got to have him right after having Peyton Manning. So the White Sox, they're going to pick 10th next year. They're going to pick 10th. And Jackson Holliday's brother's the number 1 pick in the draft, and the White Sox aren't even eligible to have a chance at him. And, it's probably going to be someone in the division that gets him. He's probably going to go to, like, Detroit is probably the only team in the division that will have a chance. Because the Royals, Twins, and Guardians are all good. But like, even if he went to a team like, I don't think the Cubs could win a lottery spot this year, but maybe they could. I think they're actually they're closer to being a playoff team than a lottery team. People will disagree with me, but I do actually think they could go on a run. But it's just crazy what has happened here. And I don't like it.
Vin, have you heard the whispers of like a brown bag night at the park? I've heard a little bit about people talking about potentially taking a brown bag, cutting it out, putting it over their head. I don't know how many people they could possibly get for that, because I'm surely in the boat of not wanting to go watch this team in person, which is a shame because I know so many people that work in the park that rely on this. I might hit one more before the end of the year. Star Wars night with the Garrett Crochet bobblehead is very sexy. I don't know if you've seen it yet. That's the only one I'm thinking about. But man, it's hard to even fathom going to a ball game right now.
It really is. Let's see. Earlier in the year, the A's fans had their big sellout at their dumpy ballpark because it was like it was a protest against moving to Vegas or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Any team could get the fans behind something. I would be very unsurprised if the White Sox found a way to shut something like that down, because they're such losers that I could see them like, give me the bag or you're out. And they can wait till you're sitting with it. Because, people think, oh, I'm not going to go to the game. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
really hit Jarrett where it hurts his wallet. I hate to tell you. 2% of Jerry Reinsdorf's overall income comes from the White Sox gates. Okay? The TV revenue that NBC Sports Chicago pays the White Sox, whether people tune in or not.
Through the end of this year.
Concessions, parking, all the money you spend on the hats. Look, we're both wearing White Sox stuff. That apparel around
Only
the
for
world.
the show today.
Yeah, well, apparel around the world. The Bulls. That's where Jerry makes his money.
There were so many Sox hats at Lollapalooza this weekend, Vin. I don't know
100%.
if they got product placement all over. A lot of the rappers, a lot of the artists were wearing Sox hats. I'm like, geez, Louise.
Yeah. If you think Jerry's hurting from you not going to the game, you are sorely mistaken. The way you can hit the White Sox where it hurts, and I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe this. If you want to hit the White Sox where it hurts, you clown them on social media. You just absolutely clown them. You make Jerry have to read things on there that are just ridiculous. And I wholeheartedly believe they hate it. They hate it so much when people talk their shit and make the team and the organization look bad. And you got the Cubs on the other side of town. Yeah, you want to hit them where it hurts? Hit them where it hurts. You're not hurting them by not going to the game. You're only taking away a nice baseball experience away from yourself. Well, I use baseball experience loosely. Fun day at the park.
Yeah, well, I think it's actually, is it this week or next week? I think it's this week. The Yankees are coming to town. I think it's this week.
It's got to be next week. They got the A's for 3 and then the Cubs.
Sorry. It's next week. Next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can go and see the Yankees sit on the 100 level for $15. Go see the Yankees, folks. Go help the people in the stadium make some money. If it wasn't a weekday and I was a little bit closer, I would probably be there. I'd like to see the Yankees play, some of the best in the biz.
Hell yeah. You got Judge, Soto, and Jazz Chisholm. Hell yeah. Go see the Yankees. They, even if they're not, I don't know if they have that it factor as a team to win the World Series. It kind of seems like they've gotten some juice since trading for Jazz. But I mean, Aaron Judge is an all-time great. I wholeheartedly see him in a different light than every other hitter in the league right now. Shohei Ohtani's different because he's the second best hitter, but he's also like a top 5 pitcher. Well, we think when he comes back from surgery, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I tried to hold it in and it ended up backfiring on me.
It's all good, man.
But yeah, go see the Yankees. They're sick.
Let's say on Wednesday, August 14th, you can go and catch a cheap ticket to the Yankees game, and they're giving away a Chicago American Giants jersey for the first 10,000. Let me pull it up for everyone to take a look. You can go. You can get a jersey handout. It's a little blurry, but there it is.
I love it. Oh, I love it. They give that away 1 week from Wednesday?
Correct. It's on Wednesday the 15th, I think. Let's see. That is Wednesday the 14th. But it's only the first 10,000, so.
Yeah, well. Yeah, they might go over 10,000. For being a weekday, it'll probably be one of their higher attended weekday games this year.
Especially because it's the Yankees, and you can get tickets on the 100 level for $15.
And what if, let's say, the A's smoke them for 3, then the Cubs beat them for 2, and the MLB record for losses in a row has been broken by that point, and they're starting a series with the Yankees.
Ooh, look at that. Now, Vinny, that's a story.
That would be awesome.
That game is gonna be a sellout, I think, that Wednesday game against the Yankees, because they're giving away a jersey that's the Yankees, and you can go for cheap. And that Tuesday, the night before, the 13th, it's $5 Tuesday, which at the bottom of the screen, again, reminding everyone, for $5, you can get a $5 Miller Lite, Modelo draft beer, Vienna beef hot dogs or Polishes, a Beggar's Pizza slice, nachos, and much, much more. So there's the sales pitch, folks.
Do you want them to break the record?
I don't know. Part of me does because I want to see Pedro get fired, but part of me is like, it doesn't matter. Pedro's not getting fired anyway. I just don't want to be next to the history books. I don't want to be that team. And you think that would light a fire for these players too. They don't want to be that team. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and Pedro said that to the team. So you guys don't want to be known. Why would a manager say that bugged me, but that's a different story. Because like that shouldn't be your motivation to just not be the worst team of all time. That's where I had a problem.
No, it's part of it, but for the manager to say it, that's different than you and me saying.
Yeah. Like that shouldn't be your motivation. Your motivation should be wanting to be, play meaningful, good baseball. Not, oh, well, we hope we're not the worst team of all time. This season will be a success, guys, if we only have 119 losses instead of 120. Okay. But I don't even know what I was going to say. Oh, I did want them to break the loss record break the losses in a row record until I did my weekly look ahead.
Oh, here we go.
And I saw that they were playing the Chicago Cubs.
Huh.
If the White Sox lose their 25th game in a row against the Cubs, I don't even... What popped in my head isn't what people would want to hear me say.
We'll never hear the end of it.
I'd be done for the rest of this season at minimum. The fact that I'm not already might make you think I'm weird, which, cool. I'm weird. I ride or die with my favorite teams. But I'd have a long conversation with myself about my White Sox fandom if they allow it to get to the point where the Cubs break the all-time record for losses in a row against them. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I don't know if it would take a long time to recover from that for me.
Yeah, it'd probably take me a while too, but I don't know, buddy. We got a long way to go until then. The game is just starting now. Well, it's about to start on the West Coast. The good old Oakland A's will not be Oakland too much longer, but then again, they don't even have funding for their new stadium in Vegas yet, which they're going to be in a world of hurt if they have to be hopping around every year where to play.
Yeah, then you become like the Arizona Coyotes, where maybe at one point the league will have to step in and force you out, and then you no longer have the rights to the team. They relocate to somewhere completely different, and they're not even the Oakland A's anymore, or the Vegas A's, or anything like that. I think Vegas is a great place for them. I do like the history of the Oakland A's. Like that's one of the oldest teams in the league, so they can't go defunct. Like if they relocate, that's one thing. And even if they did that idea where they like became the Las Vegas Aces and were still the A's.
Oh, the Aces already exist. It's the WNBA team, right?
I believe so. Like they have to be the A's. They have to be gold and green. That can't change. I'll be very upset if that's not the case. But I mean, at least they have the excuse of like being the small market cheap team in Oakland. This is Chicago. You have Jerry Reinsdorf, who also owns an NBA team. That's how rich he is. And they just refuse to put any of their resources in the right spot. They hire the wrong people. They're loyal to the wrong people. It's just a no good operation that will never lead to long-term success.
Dude needs to sell his stake. I know he's not the only owner, but he's the majority owner. But I don't know. Does it make sense to sell when your team is down in the dumps and the value's gone down? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but he's still head over heels above water when it comes to his all-time earnings as owner of the White Sox. Like, even if they're undersold a little this year than they might have been in 2021, fine. But compared to what he bought them for, he probably how much do you think Jerry Reinsdorf spent on the White Sox? It couldn't be a whole lot.
I I'm gonna have to do some homework. Let me
It
look.
couldn't be a whole lot. But we'll see what happens from here. I mean, right now they're about to start against the A's.
Oh my god.
It's got to be less than $1 million.
No, but it's all right. Here we go. Let's drop some knowledge on the group. Jerry Reinsdorf made his fortune in sports, buying Chicago sports teams in the 80s and watching the values skyrocket over the next 3 decades. Reinsdorf led a group that bought the Chicago White Sox baseball team in 1981 for $19 million. He still owns an estimated 19% stake.
Which is probably, that's majority, right?
19% is majority stake.
Yeah. Yeah, he's loaded. He's been a great businessman. And I've heard nothing but nice things about him as a person. Give you the shirt off his back. He just doesn't run his business the way that it needs in order to thrive anymore. There was probably a point where he was seen as a good owner in baseball and basketball. But, kind of striking gold on a certain number 3 overall pick in 1986 didn't hurt his case too much either.
Yeah, it helped a little bit, I'd say. So I think I just said they spent $19 million for the White Sox as a group in 81, I think I said.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what the estimated franchise value is right now for the Chicago White Sox? Vinny, take a guess.
I don't know if they're over $1 billion, but they got to be close. I know people think the White Sox are a joke. They're actually not. I'm guessing it's up there.
The White Sox current Forbes list estimated value for the Chicago White Sox is $2.05 billion. Talk about a return on investment, sir.
Yeah. 100%. They're not an easy team to buy for that reason. But it has to be done soon. I mean, this season has to be some kind of factor in how they operate going forward. I mean, I just can't see it. This is an embarrassment. It's not even like a little bit exaggerated. It's not like fans being fans, like, oh, I'm going to say this because it sounds ridiculous. Like, no. They are freaking 27-87. They are one of the worst teams ever. Come into the first inning, and the pitcher gets out of it with 6 pitches. The Oakland A's pitcher. There's no plate approach. There's no discipline. It's just, hey, I'm going to go up there and swing at one of the first 2 pitches, drive it to the warning track, and the inning's going to be over in short order. That's exactly what happened in this first inning. 6 pitches.
Wow.
I mean, that is ridiculous to get 3 outs at 6 pitches in the first inning. That's the part of your lineup that is supposed to be able to go up there and work counts, get deep into counts, and force the pitcher to make a decision. And they don't do any of that. There's no fundamental superiority with anything in their game. And, the White Sox, I saw a tweet from our buddy Jay Kuda earlier. Yeah. And if you don't follow Jay Kuda and you like baseball, kind of a moron because he's freaking sweet. The White Sox in day games have a .229 win percentage, 30th. Night games, 242, 30th. League games, 215, 30th. Interleague games, 286, 30th. I'm not going to say the percentage anymore. You get the point. It's all 200 or less than 300. They're 30th in win-loss percentage in day games, night games, league games, interleague games, division games, non-division games, home, away, 80 degrees or warmer, under 80 degrees, sunny or cloudy. It is as big of a disaster joke as Major League Baseball has ever seen from any of their teams, and everyone involved should be ashamed of themselves.
Wholeheartedly agreed, and that's all for a franchise worth over $2 billion, Vin. To go back to bring that full circle, do you know which Major League team has the lowest value and the price of said team?
I'm going to guess that it's either the Oakland A's, Miami Marlins, or Tampa Bay Rays.
You have one of them. You have one of those teams is correct. One of those teams has a value under $1 billion.
It's going to be the Rays then.
Negative.
It's the A's?
It is not the A's.
It's the Marlins.
It is the Miami Marlins, yes.
And two other teams are under $1 billion worth?
No, there's only one team under $1 billion. It's the Marlins.
Oh, got it. Well, are those two the other bottom three, though?
Let's see. One moment.
I'm guessing they're not up there by any means. Those other two teams.
There we go. Still loading. Sorry, I was in it before and then I exited out.
Oh, that's okay.
Of course, it does not want to load for me right now. What are you doing? Load.
And so Kai Busch is making his MLB debut right now. I'm not even a little excited. Because, Brooks Baldwin's the shortstop. Lenyn Sosa's the second baseman. Miguel Vargas is at third. And they have Vaughn at first. I mean, it is an objectively terrible team. I don't see how they get any better. And there's already been more pitches in the first at-bat with no outs than there was in the entire top half of the inning.
It's impressively bad, Vin. Okay, I did pick up the values of all teams. Vin, remind me again what your bottom three was. And yes, as we talked about before, Marlins are the lowest. The only team valued just under $1 billion.
I had the Rays, the A's, and the Marlins.
So you have the second least value team listed, but there is a team that is below the Rays in value.
Is the Rays fourth?
The Rays are fourth, correct.
There's a team lower than the A's, or lower than the Rays, but more than the A's and Marlins.
That is correct.
My first initial thought was is it the Angels?
Nope.
But I don't think so. Ohtani and Trout have driven up their revenue for the last decade. I know the Pirates and the Royals are exceptionally cheap over the years.
Then real quick, the Angels are actually in the top 10 value for the record.
Okay. They have Disney on their side. I don't know if they're owned by them anymore, but that's where it all started. And they had Trout and Ohtani, I'm sure, kept them monetarily healthy for the last decade. I know that Pirates.
I will say that team is very surprising. The team that is third to last.
Oh, it's surprising. Okay, so
for me, it's surprising because they had success not that long ago.
Is it the Royals?
It is the Royals.
Okay. Well, okay, so look at it from this point of view. Until I'm pretty sure, actually, even still, the Royals are the only team with the White Sox and A's that haven't given out $100 million contract. But Bobby Witt will get it, or did he get it? Are they no longer one of those teams? They're a low end. I knew they were a low end team. Third to last, I didn't really expect, but well, at least them and the A's are cheap for a reason. The White Sox are cheap, and they have absolutely no reason to be.
Yeah, Bobby Witt, the Royals.
They gave him I thought
they gave him a mammoth 11-year, $288.8 million deal.
So even they pay their guys. Well, no, they don't.
11 years,
they paid one of their guys.
$88.8 million.
Good for him, man. I'm all of a sudden cheering for the other teams in the AL Central.
Yeah.
I've completely flipped on that. The Guardians have been so fun. The Twins uniforms are awesome. The Royals have kind of that Bobby Witt, Patrick Mahomes swag. And the Tigers are one of those historical teams that's fun to think about. So,
yep. And then to give you I'll give you the bottom 10 valued teams in Major League Baseball, and then we'll get off this subject. Colorado Rockies at number 20 at $1.48 billion. The Minnesota Twins at number 21 at $1.46 billion. The Tigers, $1.45 billion. D-backs, $1.43 billion. Guardians, $1.35 billion. Pirates, $1.32 billion. Cincy Reds, $1.25 billion. Tampa Bay Rays coming in at number 27 at $1.25 billion. The Royals, as we mentioned, 28, 1.23. And the second to last team, as you predicted, Vin, is the Oakland A's at $1.2 billion.
No White Sox.
Nope. The Sox, actually, let me see where they land number-wise. They are in the middle of the pack, number 15 in the league.
Exceptionally average.
But there's some really big franchises in front of them.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm sure the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Cubs, probably the top four.
Holy shit, Vin. Are you looking at the list?
No.
You listed it in order. Jesus
And
Christ.
then I'm sure the San Francisco Giants are up there.
Are you fucking with me? Are you looking at the
I
list?
swear to God. Dude, my hands are right here. Look, hands behind my back.
You literally just rattled off the top five.
Yeah.
Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Cubs, Giants.
Yeah, and then after that might be – I know the Toronto Blue Jays are like shockingly high because they have all of Canada.
It is not the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are 14 right in front of the White Sox.
Okay. Which is more than you would expect.
Yes.
I don't know who 6 would be. I'm sure maybe the Atlanta Braves are probably up there.
You're close. But there's a big city you're forgetting about.
Oh yeah, of course, the freaking Houston Astros.
Nope.
Oh, not Houston. Big city that I'm forgetting. Boston. Oh, the Phillies.
They are number 7, but their number 6 is another big city.
Number 6
that has 2 teams.
Another big city that has 2 teams. Oh, is it the New York Mets?
That is correct.
Yeah, the Mets are. Hell yeah. Yeah.
So you got Mets, Phillies, and then to round out the top 10, there's 3 left. So you got 3 teams.
Was one of them the Braves?
Yep, number 8 is the Braves.
Okay, the Braves are 8. Let's think about it. I'm going to say the Astros are 9.
Number 9 is a surprising pick.
Oh, are the Astros 10?
The Astros are number 11.
Oh, the Astros are 11. Okay. It wouldn't shock me if the Texas Rangers are one of those 2 teams.
They are number 12. It is not.
Oh, okay.
You're getting
so
close.
I'm in that ballpark, yeah.
We talked about this team earlier that I was surprised by.
This team earlier that you were surprised by, like in a good way?
You thought they were going to be really low, but they're actually really high on this list.
Oh, the Angels.
Yep, the Angels.
The Los Angeles Angels. Yeah. Look at that.
And then number 10 is a very classic baseball team. A lot of iconic players over the years.
Cincinnati Reds?
Nope.
A lot of classic players over the years. An
Central
iconic
Division.
Team, Central Division. It's got to be the NL Central. Oh, yeah. The St. Louis Cardinals.
That is correct.
That
rounds out the top 10. Yes, sir. Nice job. You hammered out the top 6 with no problem.
Thank you. I enjoy baseball history big time. I enjoy sports history and learning. And I like financials and business. And, it's not all about the ball being in play for me either. I like all of it. I like the business side. I like the politics behind it all. I hate, and that's why I think I get more mad than even most people about the White Sox, because I know how much of a joke it is that they're this bad. Because I think if any other owner, or not any other owner, there's some bad owners in sports, but like if a good owner owned the White Sox, they would own the division every year. Because I heard you name every team in the AL Central in the bottom 10.
Yeah.
Right? Except for maybe the Tigers. Where the Tigers were in the bottom 10, were they? No, I don't think they were. They got to be close to the middle of the pack.
Tigers are not quite in the bottom. Actually, they are in the bottom 10.
Oh, they are in the bottom 10. Okay, so every team in the AL
Central is in the bottom 10.
Except for the White Sox. And that is a complete joke. And if the White Sox took advantage of it more than they do, they wouldn't be 15 either. If every year was like 2021 record-wise, they'd be top 10 easily. I wholeheartedly believe that. You couldn't get You had to go to the ballpark an hour early to get in on time in 2021. Trust me, we went to like 30 something games. Now you could show up at game time, park, get your hot dog, and still make it in your seat in time. It's a joke. They should run away with this division every year. They don't. They're down 1-0 to the A's already, and it won't be long before they lose their 21st straight game.
I'm playing White Sox bingo on the ballpark app for the first time in like 3 months. I'm like, if they're really bad, I might as well try to win some sort of prize.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not sure what I would win. Maybe they'd send me a bag of dog shit in the mail.
Yeah. That's probably what I would send you if I were them.
I remember like when I did the White Sox duffel bag thing with like Benetti and Steve Stone giveaway for like charity week, like 2-3 years ago. And I got the signed Andrew Vaughn ball, and I was so excited. And I was like, oh, the future of the franchise, man. I mean, I guess he could still turn it around, but man, oh man. How they fall. How the mighty fall.
That's funny. Screw them.
But I think that's enough White Sox talk, fan. We can kind of go on to greener pastures and talk about whatever we want now. Hard Knock starts tomorrow night.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. I encourage people to watch the Barroom Network in response to Hard Knocks, and also go to thebearswire.com, part of USA Today Sports Network, to read up on all your Chicago Bears stuff. There's going to be a lot of Hard Knocks conversation.
For sure. What else do you want to talk about, Vin?
Is it crazy to think that the Bears could be a playoff team?
I don't think so.
I'm leaning that way. And you know me, I'm not a homer when it comes to, maybe if it's like a tiebreaker, I'll take my favorite team in the prediction. But like, I shat on the Devils for 10 years. It wasn't until last year that I was kind of a little wrong about them in the opposite direction, where like normally if they had an okay year, that I was wrong then because I said they would suck. Last year, I thought they would repeat what they did 2 years ago. They had some injuries, goalie, whatever. They kind of were a mid team, and they missed the playoffs by like 4 points or whatever it was. But like most of the time when they stunk, I've said it. When the White Sox stink, I say it. The Bears, I've been the hardest on the Bears. I think Aldo called me Mr. Negative on the Bears, and I just said what I was feeling. I'm leaning towards saying they're a playoff team. I can't think of 6-7 better teams in the NFC on paper. Football games aren't played on paper.
There's one thing that's keeping me away from saying that, Vin, and you just said it.
You haven't seen Caleb Williams play a snap in the NFL yet?
That's not it. I don't care about that. The offensive line is banged up.
Yeah.
That scares the shit out of me, Vin.
That's fair. And he's a rookie. There's more weapons. So, can he make do? Justin Herbert has, had some success with bad offensive lines. It's not like the offensive line for CJ Stroud is perfect.
No.
Joe Burrow. Now, the Bengals' bad offensive line has led to some serious injury troubles for Joe Burrow's 2 of the last 3 years. Did I call him Burrows? What an idiot I am.
You just said Burrows.
Yeah, Alexander Burrows was a hockey player. He was on the Vancouver Canucks. Real good player back in the day. But Joe Burrow probably doesn't want to get hit as much. They could go to the Super Bowl if their offensive line is good. That's how good he is. So, yeah, you want it to play well. They've upgraded it, surely, over the last 3 or 4 years. It's not as much of a dog pile as it was when Ryan Poles first took over. I think Darnell Wright is a stud. You need Tevin Jenkins to be healthy. Mm-hmm. And then you need Braxton Jones to be healthy. Do I think you could upgrade over Braxton Jones one day? Maybe. But for right now, he's fine if Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright do their job to the highest level. We'll see what happens with some of the other guys that they brought in. Who's the other guy that they brought in from Buffalo?
Oh,
I'm drawing a blank on his name.
me too. We'll all be more familiar with these guys after tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. And I was told to watch episodes 2 or 4 and 6 of the Giants one because there's a lot of heavy Bears talk in. Apparently, the Giants really tried to sell down to the Bears. The Bears could come up at 6, and they really liked Joe Alt, who's an awesome offensive lineman from Notre Dame, but you wouldn't have Roma Dunze. So, you got to pick your poison, but we'll see. I'm pumped for Hard Knocks, so I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch tomorrow. Still can't believe that it's tomorrow.
Ryan Bates. That's right. Ryan Bates. PZ.
Yeah, P is the center.
Clutch. Yep.
They got a couple other names. They got Coleman Shelton, I think, is the guy that's second string center.
You never know what they could get at the trade deadline, too. I know they're not trading for Travis Kelce in his prime or anything like that when it comes to a center, or they're not getting, Creed Humphrey from the Kansas City Chiefs. But I feel like there's still time to beef up the offensive line a little bit throughout the season.
Totally.
If I could take any player from the Chiefs besides Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones would be my number 1. Travis Kelce would be my number 2, and Creed Humphrey would be up there. That guy's a dog.
I could see that.
They have a couple offensive linemen who are studs, which is weird to say considering his first 2 Super Bowls that he appeared in. The one they won one of them and they lost one of them. They were kind of on the offensive line. One of them so bad that the Buccaneers defense shit all over them. But it's really gotten fixed in the last couple of years. I can't wait to watch the Chiefs. That is good football right there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I went off on a tangent.
It's all good, dude. Football, we're ready for it. Fantasy's coming up. I got to talk with the boys about when we're going to do our fantasy preview show.
Hell yeah. And the Guillotine League.
Yes, the Tooch is kicking the tires and getting that back up and running. So we were talking about that the other day.
I'm going to text him. I have 3 people for him. I could probably make it 4. So
I don't think I think Tooch is going to be happy to hear that because it's part of the reason I stopped running it, because getting 18 guys together is like trying to put a circle in a square.
Yeah, I think I have 4, including me. And I don't include you because I know you're just including yourself.
Yes, I am already partake.
Which is very good because I think the more people that are kind of in our little circle, the better, because it'll make it more fun to beat them, but it'll also make it more fun to lose to them if necessary. So
Rodgers screwed me over hard last year in the Guillotine
yes,
League.
he did. Rodgers gave you a solid 0 yards on 4 plays.
And somehow I still survived 4 weeks after that with just scrubs off the wire with nobody available. So
nice.
I'll take the win.
Nice. When I had never won yet, I thought to myself, I just want to win it one time. And then I'll play every year after, and it'll be fun. I just want to win it one time, though. I no longer feel that way. I want to win now as badly as I did before I had one under my belt.
It's all. I say this in the nicest way possible. Winning a Guillotine League takes a crap ton of luck.
Oh yeah, luck. There's some skill.
There's a lot of skill, but it takes a crap ton of luck too.
I had $100 more than the next closest person in week 12. I had whatever player for whatever price I wanted, as long as I went over the price that they could max out at. So like when I had $150 left and the second most money person had 30 something, I knew if I threw 40 on Travis Kelce, he was mine. That was my key, was trying to save money as much as I could without getting chopped.
Highly recommend people listen to the Chopped podcast, the Guillotine League podcast by Paul Charchian.
Mm-hmm.
Every week it comes out. They talk strategy. I followed it tit for tat, but the Rodgers injury was just too much to overcome.
Yeah, they don't tell
that
you
early in the season.
They don't tell you on the podcast how to come back from your star quarterback that you drafted going out after 4 plays. They don't teach that in fantasy football school.
Well, it's not possible when there's 18 guys and then he goes out and your backup is, I don't remember who my backup was anymore.
Yeah, you could make a claim that drafting 2 stud quarterbacks early in that league is smart. There are a lot of ways to go about drafting in that league that are unconventional, that they might sound stupid until you really deep dive and think about it. Because think about it, Joe. If by round 5 you have 2 good running backs, a good wide receiver, and 2 good quarterbacks, somebody else isn't getting a good quarterback. And if one of your guys goes down, I'm not saying I'm going to do this. I'm probably not going to do this. I'll probably take my chance with the 1 again.
I don't even know what the hell I'm doing.
But having 2 quarterbacks, good ones, or someone will overpay to trade with you, they'll give you money for one. There are all sorts of pros to drafting quarterbacks early and often in the Guillotine League. But then that could also lead to you getting chopped because you don't have enough guys to score enough points in that. It's difficult. I could go on for days talking Guillotine League strategy, though.
Yeah, man. And we'll talk more as we get closer. I'm sure Tuch is going to have to figure out the date soon because that draft is probably going to have to happen within 3 weeks now.
Yeah. You don't want to do it too early in the preseason so guys don't get hurt. And then, at least your guy went out in a regular season game. I remember one year I did a draft in late August, and Jordy Nelson was one of the top 3 wide receivers taken, and his ass went out for the year in the 4th preseason Packer game.
Nice.
That was a tough one.
But
I didn't have him.
Thing of beauty, my friend. Not really, but you know what I mean. But we got a little bit of fantasy talk in. We talked about the terrible White Sox. Anything else before we start to do our shout-outs and close the doors on go looking for 21 Blackjack, which is the episode title today? If 21 in a row would be Blackjack.
Absolutely. No, yeah, I'm good. My shout-out is my fiance, Katie. We just made a sick dinner. It was like a goat cheese pasta dish that we kind of came up with from scratch, and it was excellent. I loved it. I loved making it. And it was a good time. I love doing stuff like that. So, yeah, my shout out is my fiance, Katie, and the delicious pasta dish that we made tonight.
Yeah, and shout out to goat cheese. It's an unsung hero.
Love goat cheese. I could grab it. It comes in a cylinder.
Oh yeah.
I could bite it and eat it. It's so good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with goat cheese, that's for sure.
No, for sure not. I hate the name. It's an unappetizing name. Goat cheese.
I mean, regular cheese is from a cow, so why don't we just call it cow cheese?
Cow cheese. That sounds like the name of a. It sounds like the name of a deep fried pastry in the deep South. You go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and they're serving some cow cheese.
Hell yeah. That's what it's all about, baby. Love it, man. And again, congratulations on the engagement. Now you got the whole fiance thing down.
Oh yeah, it's it was an easy transition verbally.
Just wait till you have to start calling her your wife. That'll take a minute.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
Very nice.
This is my sister. She is biggest whore in Kazakhstan.
So my country will be free. I will grab him by his horns and we'll throw a big party.
F the White Sox, dude.
Wow, what a full circle moment.
Oh yeah.
Love it, man. Great shout outs. As always, I'll give a shout out to Vin and Zim. Zim couldn't be here tonight. He's got some family over. But granted, we still had plenty to talk about next week. Who knows? Hopefully we're talking about a firing, but I doubt that's going to happen. This team has me yawning. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Catherine, who's carrying our second child. Finn, we have the anatomy ultrasound on Wednesday.
Ooh.
But we're not going to tell everybody for a little bit until we, my wife and I have our moment together first. We're going to do a little unveiling for just the two of us with Audrey, and then we'll, as we find out, let the world know.
Very good.
Shout out to our 2.5-year-old daughter, Audrey. We love you very much. Potty trained, like I said, and she's just a ray of light, man. That kid's hilarious. We played in the backyard today with bubbles and water table for like an hour and a half before bed. That kid needed a really good bath. It was just dirt. The water was black,
That's awesome. I love that.
Kids know how to like literally get covered in dirt.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like a fun night.
Yeah, it was. And then my Great Dane Maverick, who is just the biggest ham. Shout out to him and everyone in the chat room that hung out tonight. Appreciate y'all. And we're gonna shout out the Oakland A's because they're gonna give the Sox their 21st loss in a row. Maybe it'll be like a Josh Naylor situation now that the Sox will actually end up winning this game because I said that, but I really don't care either way. So
I don't care. I want them to win one of the three against the A's so they don't break the record against the Cubs.
I would appreciate that.
Me too.
Yes, we hope the Sox win tonight too.
Me too.
But outside of that, Vin, not much going on. Just I've played about an hour and a half of college football 25. I'm enjoying it, but I've played 3 games. I haven't got back to it since we talked last week, so maybe this week I'll get to play a little bit more.
Hell yeah. I'm on a kick. I've played it a lot. By my standard, by my lately standards, I've played it a lot.
It's all right, buddy.
Oh, I'm planning on going so much more. It's good. It's fun.
I got one thing that we have to talk about before we officially clear out the show. I forgot about.
Hit me.
Deadpool Wolverine.
I loved it. I thought it was a blast. It was so much fun. There wasn't a second in the movie theater I was like bored or like felt the need to like criticize it. It was just fun. Like the cameos. I will say that like it reminded me.
We won't spoil it for anyone.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything. But it reminded me of like a Royal Rumble in WWE.
Yeah,
where like
kind of. Yeah.
Who's going to come out next? What song are we going to play? Durner. Okay, here comes Roman Reigns. If you smell. All of a sudden, here comes The Rock. Pat McAfee's music starts playing. He comes out.
The glass shatters. And
yeah, exactly. Deadpool very much reminded me of the Royal Rumble in that way. It's like, what cameo's coming next? And one is coming at all times, all movie. And some of them were very, very unexpected. And I was very, very happy.
Yeah, me too, man. It was great. And that just brings me full circle. I was thinking back to like the end of Deadpool 2 when Deadpool goes back in time and like kills all like the old versions of Deadpool and like characters he didn't like and Green Lantern and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll just go
he
back
played Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. We'll go back in time and try to erase the 2024 White Sox season from our memories. Hopefully they can do that in the next couple of days by at least winning a game and not being on this terrible losing streak. But there is more to see. You can watch that game now. It's live, or you can just find out in the morning like I'm probably going to do, but I'll probably check my phone over the course of the evening. But Vin, always love talking baseball with you. Talked a little fantasy, talked a little Bears. Don't forget, folks, training camp with the Chicago Bears, Hard Knocks, starts tomorrow night on HBO or Max, depending on which one you have. And you can catch all the coverage on the Ballroom Network. You got Dan and Aldo. You got Greg Gabriel talking football, all the great shows. Barfly Tailgate Show was on yesterday. You can head on back and check that out. Vin, when's Bar Down coming back?
I want it to come back next week.
All right, so keep an eye out. Hockey Talk's
2
coming
weeks,
back.
2 weeks tops.
Have you figured out the return for Crosstown?
I have an idea in mind. I want you to be a part of it. That's been my big kicker.
All right. Well, we'll chat. We'll see. There's a lot of great stuff coming up on the Barroom Network. You got the Willis Twin Tower show. I produced it a couple weeks ago. Weekend sports betting tips. Of course, Fantasy Football Goon will be returning. Lots and lots of great stuff. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. It helps us do what we do. And last but not least, of course, you got to shout out Aldo Gandia, the barkeeper, for letting us do this every week, giving us the platform. Love you, man. And that's what we got. You know, we're going to hightail it out of here. Going to get a little snack when we get off here. You know, maybe a nice glass of cold water because I guzzled mine down during the show. And that's what we got. So thank you for tuning in. They stink. We know it. No matter what, somehow, some way, Vinny and I are still wearing Sox hats today. No matter what, I can't believe I'm going to say this. As always, go White Sox. For the South Burbs Hitmen, I'm Vinnie Parisi. No, I'm not. I'm Joe Mandel. That's Vinnie Parisi. I don't know who I am anymore, folks.
I thought you did on purpose.
I almost did, and then I was going to make a joke, and I did it anyway on accident. But I'm Joe Mandel. That's Vinnie Parisi. We're going to get out of here. Thank you for watching. See you next week. And Vinny is going to end the show with a fart sound because let's end it the way that we started it, folks.